What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. This is Chu here from Choose to Explore,
where we teach you how to see the world and save $1.
So today we'll be doing a comprehensive review of our top things to do in Puerto Rico. So stay tuned, you don't want to miss this one.
So I've been to Puerto Rico 3 times.
And I've been twice.
So the first time I went on a girls trip, and the second time I went with him, and the most recent time I went was on a family trip with my mom and my younger brother.
And I went one time with my fiance, and I went another time with one of my guys.
So Puerto Rico really offers a wide variety of things to do. Depending on who you're traveling with, you'll have a great time regardless.
Generally speaking, when most people come to Puerto Rico, they stay in San Juan. But what I want to tell you guys is there's so much more to do on the island outside of San Juan. But we know that most people will be in San Juan, so we'll also include a lot of things to do in San Juan as well.
Okay, so let's get right into it. Our first recommendation is El Morro, which is in Old San Juan.
And it's actually called San Felipe de Morro, which is a fort right on the coast of Old San Juan. The locals call it El Morro, but it's actually San Felipe de Morro Castle. This was originally built to stop sea attacks, and it withstood 2 world wars. Also, this is a great place for a sunset. And on many occasions, you see families and crowds around just to hang out in this park grounds.
So yeah, I went with my younger brother and my mom, and we had a great time just adventuring throughout the park. My brother was climbing throughout the fortress. It was a lot of fun and gorgeous views.
Also, there is a cemetery that's below, and it is beautiful. And this is a great place for a photo op. You can typically find people taking pictures here because you have the old style of San Juan contrasting with the great blue waters.
Alright, so our second recommendation in San Juan is Calle de Fortaleza. So this is a beautiful cobblestone street, and it was known as an umbrella street. So there's lots of umbrellas hanging up, or the last time I was there was actually the Puerto Rican flag hanging up. So this is the spot to go if you're trying to do it for the gram. So it's a great place for photo ops, and it's lively around there as well. So also, the last time we were there, we also felt a little bit more like locals and tourists because there were some protests going on as it was pretty close to a government building.
So just note that there may be a police presence and maybe some barricades, just based on our experiences.
So for our third recommendation for Old San Juan, we're going to take you to the beach. So I'm going to recommend Escambron Beach, where I went with my family, and we had an amazing beach day. The water was super clear and really warm. It wasn't too wavy, but just wavy enough. Also, the sand was beautiful, white sand beach. However, it was extremely hot sand. Like, we actually had to run across the sand to get into the water because it was so hot. So maybe bring some water shoes. Also, on the beach, it was really sunny, but luckily enough, there were lots of palm trees throughout the sand on the beach, so you could just land beneath the palm tree and be good. Also, there was a food truck there that kind of sold snacks and different ice creams, so that was great to have as well. And the only fee for getting in was $5 to park.
And that is per car. Next thing that I'm going to talk about is another beach, and this one also is in San Juan. It is Condado Beach. Now, Condado Beach is a very touristy beach because of its proximity to San Juan, the hotels, and the resorts. Now, Condado Beach is free, but you once again have to pay for parking. Also, you have to pay for umbrellas and chairs if you want to rent them as well. One thing I do want to note about Condado Beach is the waves are very strong. So I would not recommend going too deep. Really stay close to the shoreline if you want to get in the water.
Alright, so our fifth recommendation in San Juan is actually really close to Condado Beach. It was in Condado Lagoon. So here I was able to go clear kayaking through an Airbnb experience, and I had an amazing time. I went with my mom and my younger brother, so it's very family friendly, and it's also very safe. We were all required to wear life jackets. So it was a clear kayak, so we were able to see the bottom and see all the different schools of fish, and I loved it, my mom loved it, my little brother definitely loved it, and our tour guide was great. He even stopped for a moment to have us do a moment of meditation, which was very nice and peaceful and let you really take in the moment and take in the tour. So I would definitely recommend that. And on Airbnb experiences, this was actually $55 per person. Well worth it.
And for number 6, also in San Juan, is the Bacardi Tour. Now, many people call Puerto Rico the rum capital of the world. And this is because rum is one of Puerto Rico's top exports. Puerto Rico is home to Bacardi as well as Don Q.
If you visit Casa Bacardi, it's $20 for an entrance fee, and that includes a cocktail and an empanada. However, this is not a tour.
And it has great views of El Morro and Old San Juan.
They also offer a private rum tasting tour with food pairings, and the prices will be linked down below in the description.
Now, with these tours, they tell you about the Bacardi family, the historical context of the rum, and also the distillation process. And for number 7, in the San Juan neighborhood, we'll recommend the Carmelo Anthony basketball court. Now, Carmelo Anthony is an American basketball player with Puerto Rican heritage. This is a beautiful basketball court which overlooks the Caribbean Sea.
So we were walking along the water and we stumbled upon this beautiful, colorful basketball court, and of course,
I had to play.
yes, he had to go play. And who did you play with?
I played with someone who was a professional basketball player in Puerto Rico. Actually, you can look above and see that video linked ahead. And now let's move outside of San Juan.
So for number 8, I actually went here all 3 times that I went to Puerto Rico, so it's a must visit. And we're talking about the only tropical rainforest in the U.S. National Forest System, El Yunque.
El Yunque. Now this area is a favorite for all my vacationers who like some adventure, because here you can do zip lining, you can do hiking, you can go climbing waterfalls, or just hang out with the family. They also have castles here, which we had a great time seeing. The one thing I would note are a lot of these waterfalls are cold. So the cool thing about this park is that there's tons of parking, so you don't have to worry so much about hiking if you don't want to. You can just park to the next spot and walk to where it is.
One thing to know is that due to COVID, you do have to make a reservation prior to coming, and we'll link that down in the description below.
The best thing about this park that I like is it's free. So we rented a car on our trip, and it took us about 40 to 45 minutes to get there.
And also, after Hurricane Maria, some parts are still not open in the park, but there's still a wide variety of things to see there.
And for number 9, we're gonna get way off of San Juan. I'm talking about a different island in Puerto Rico, which is Culebra. So we actually took a super early ferry from Lucia to get to Culebra Island. We actually watched the sunrise on Flamenco Beach. Now this is a beautiful, pristine beach. The waves are cool. The water is so blue. It can be very touristy, but I advise you just to walk as far down as you can. We essentially had the beach to ourselves. So my favorite part about this beach is it has a washed up military tank right on the shore.
And the reason why the tank is there is because this is an ex-US military base.
So there's some history for you about Culebra. Now for number 10, we will talk about Cueva Ventana, which literally means to window cave. Now this experience was $19 per person. And it's an amazing destination where you walk through a limestone cave. As you walk through the stone engravings, you will see a lot of different petroglyphs from the early Taíno people. One thing to note, because of how dark it is, there are bats. So if you're scared of them, it might not be the place for you.
I'm scared of them.
When you're walking through though, they put you in helmets just in case a rock or something falls on your head, but it didn't happen to me. I'm telling you, it's a great experience. But the prize at the end is this beautiful view where it gets its name from, the window cave. And number 11 is Cueva del Indio, which literally means Cave of the Indians. Now I went here with one of my guy friends and we had an amazing time. This cave dates back to the natives of the island, and you can see that through the petroglyphs throughout. It has an amazing view, and there also is a beach right behind it. You can actually climb down into the caves, but you will need water shoes, or some shoes with some grip.
So number 12 on our list is Gazalandia Waterfall, and this is in San Sebastian, which is about an hour and 45 minutes outside of San Juan.
But this was my favorite waterfall that I went to in Puerto Rico. And there are different levels of the waterfall. Here you can actually go in and swim, and my favorite part is I can climb up and I jumped off into the waterfall. Spectacular.
And number 13 is something we haven't done yet, but it's top of our list for the next time we visit Puerto Rico. And that's going to be the bioluminescent bay, which is located on Vieques.
Now Vieques, once again, is an island off the coast of Puerto Rico. But it is a Puerto Rican island. In order to get here, you also have to take a ferry, but I do know some people that fly, but for my penny pinchers, take the ferry. Now the reason why we haven't done this yet is because you need some time on the island. And this is because at night, bioluminescent bay glows a bright blue.
And this glow is due to the dinoflagellates and the plankton that live there.
I'm talking about chum bucket plankton. And the best time to see this natural phenomena is the darkest nights. So I would recommend to go during a new moon where there is not a lot of moonlight. I also did a similar experience in Colombia, and it was an experience like no other.
So there you have it. Those are our top 13 things to do in Puerto Rico and San Juan, as well as venturing outside of San Juan that you should be sure to check out.
So thank you guys so much for checking out our channel. We truly appreciate the support, and let us know below if we missed anything, because there's a ton of Puerto Rico that we have not seen yet.
Yeah, so definitely comment, like the video, share it, and subscribe to the channel.
And we'll see you guys on the next one.